Dr. Jennifer Arnold and Bill Klein from The Little Couple on TLC. Their love, family life, and the struggles they experienced as small people in a large world have inspired us for more than a decade. However, underneath the smiles and outbursts, issues were becoming more serious. Bill Klein made $1.1 million from the sale of his home. Officially, Bill and Jennifer are no longer together. Indeed, Bill Klein was taken into custody. It's not just rumors. This is the authentic, unvarnished tale that may alter your perspective on things. Press the subscribe button. Since you must know how it began in order to comprehend how it finished, let's go back to the beginning. Jennifer Arnold and Bill Klein met in a hospital waiting room when they were young. Both have skeletal dysplasia, a form of dwarfism, from birth. Because they could relate to one another's experiences, they became friends. A few years later, in their 20s, Jen was a prosperous neonatologist and Bill was a savvy entrepreneur. It was love all over again when they reconnected online. They pledged to face life together when they were married in a stunning ceremony on St. John Island in 2008. In 2009, TLC formed the tiny pair after seeing their story. The 14-season series, which concluded in 2019, followed them. In 2013, their son Will was adopted from China, and later that year, their daughter Zoey was adopted from India. When Jen fought cancer in 2013, many helped her, and Bill was always there for her. In 2017, they purchased a waterfront house in St. Petersburg, Florida, for $2.1 million. A testament to their progress. Even so, things were beginning to shift. They moved to Boston in 2022 after selling the Florida home for $3.64 million. Jen had agreed to take a significant position at Boston Children's Hospital. Although fans believed this to be the next phase of their adventure, it was instead the start of the end. Originally from New York, Bill disliked the frigid weather in Boston. Additionally, he felt distant from his company. Bill had to handle more at home because Jen had to work long hours at her job. The tension increased. Fans became aware of the indicators by 2023. Bill was absent from family photos, and Jen wrote about finding strength. According to those who worked on the play, the pandemic had made matters worse by early 2024. In the absence of cameras, the flawless image began to unravel. Jen became irritated with Bill's work trips and diversions, while Bill felt that Jen's career was receiving all the focus. Marriage counseling wasn't helpful, so they tried it. Jen discreetly filed for divorce in Suffolk County, Massachusetts, in March 2024. It was not until July 2025 that the public learned. The divorce was then finalized on August 3, 2025, a few days prior to the release of this video. Bill and Jen were no longer married after 17 years. They made a dignified and composed joint statement. They declared they would always co-parent Will and Zoey even if they were no longer a marriage. They requested privacy, nonetheless, in the realm of that is practically impossible on social media. Let's discuss the specifics. According to publicly available court records, the divorce was amicable despite being emotional. Their combined wealth from their businesses, public speaking, and TV show was approximately $3.5 million. Bill was granted generous visitation rights, while Jen was granted primary custody of the children. Bill consented to split the children's tuition and medical expenses and to pay $5,000 a month in child support. The house was the biggest surprise. Their house in Boston, purchased in 2022, was designed to their specifications, was 5,000 square feet, had ocean views, and cost $2.1 million. It was supposed to be their permanent residence. However, in May 2025, following the divorce, it was put up for sale. It didn't sell for the $2.5 million asking price. The drama did not help the declining house market. Ultimately, on July 15, 2025, it sold for a mere $1.1 million. That is a significant loss. Bill wanted a quick sale so he could move on, according to insiders. The home was purchased by a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur due to its seclusion and unique characteristics. Imagine the scene. Memories are being packed up by movers. Zoe's art materials, Will's trophies, and the kitchen where they shared family meals. Jen was spotted signing the sale documents while dabbing at her emotions. In contrast, Bill was already anticipating a new life. Online fans were taken aback. The house wasn't the biggest surprise, but one person commented, "This divorce is ruining everything we loved about them." Bill's personal life was the true surprise. Rumors of infidelity persisted for years, and some of the rumors were verified during the divorce. According to a family source, Bill had an affair with a 35-year-old New York marketing consultant named Samantha Reyes. During one of Bill's business visits for his pet store in 2021, they first met. Samantha was tall, fashionable, and a far cry from Bill's life on the show. It started off as simple texts and coffee dates. Later, it evolved into late-night phone conversations and dinners. As the family was settling into Boston in 2022, Bill was traveling more for work. Although hotel records indicated he was in Miami with Samantha, he told Jen he was in Atlanta. When a buddy snapped a picture of Bill and Samantha at an Orlando hotel pool in November 2023, Jen learned. She went up to him. She had the evidence, but he denied it. Pictures, texts, and phone calls. Jen said to a coworker, "I felt like my world shattered." A notation regarding marital misconduct, typically interpreted as cheating, was included in the divorce documents. At first, Samantha was unaware that Bill was married, but she remained with him following the breakup after learning about it. It was an unexpected turn of events. Only a few weeks after the divorce was made public, Bill and Samantha were married in a covert ceremony in Key West in March 2025. They exchanged vows on a beach with few guests, according to photos that were published on TMZ. Samantha donned a flowing white dress, and Bill, dressed in a linen suit, appeared content. He's now free, according to a source. But there was a price for such independence. The public's response was swift and severe. Jen's Instagram rapidly garnered more fans as she shared positive, uplifting posts like, "Stronger every day. Grateful for my kids and my work." Bill, however, received a barrage of nasty comments. He was accused of cheating and ruining the small couple. Now 14 and 15, Will and Zoey were caught in the middle. They are in therapy, according to sources, to help them cope with everything. Normally gregarious, Will has been misbehaving at school. Zoey is spending more time doing art and has become more reserved. Jen is concentrating on giving stability by placing them in prestigious Boston schools that provide assistance to young people. However, the divorce wasn't the end of the turmoil. Bill Klein's arrest made headlines just when folks believed things couldn't get much worse. On August 6, 2025, it took place, 3 days after the divorce was formalized. Bill headed to Seaport Grill, a well-known seafood restaurant with a harbor view in Boston, perhaps to celebrate his new life or to decompress. He was there to toast to new beginnings with Samantha and a few others. First steps. But things immediately went south. According to those who witnessed it, a 38-year-old man, let's call him Mark, came up for a picture after recreating Bill from the program. They spoke to each other. According to reports, Mark made a nasty remark regarding the divorce. Perhaps intoxicated and agitated, Bill said, "So, you traded in the little wife for a tall one, huh?" Then there was pushing after he shouted, "Mind your own business." Mark's hand was injured when a glass shattered on the ground. The cops were called, but security took over. Bill was immediately taken into custody on charges of misdemeanor and disorderly conduct. The consequences were severe. TLC had been considering bringing the young couple back, but they have already decided against it. In a brief statement, Jen said, "My focus is on our children. I wish Bill well, but privately, sources say she's furious." If the case gets worse, it could affect their custody agreement. An executive told Variety, "We can't be involved with this right now." To truly understand what happened, we must look at who Bill Klein is. Born William Klein on October 13, 1974, in Port Jefferson, New York, he grew up in a loving home, but life wasn't always easy. His parents, Barbara and William Sr., were both average height and raised Bill. Some fans feel sorry for Bill and believe he's under a lot of pressure, while others say he needs to take responsibility. One post claimed that he used to be a role model, but is now just another fallen star. And his two brothers to be tough and strong. Despite being teased, called names, and excluded from school, Bill persevered, excelled academically, gained a keen sense of humor, and attended New York University, where he earned a degree in biology. He had previously aspired to be a doctor, but eventually succeeded in sales. In 2006, he met Jen on a Little People dating site, and they went on a picnic in Central Park. Bill later stated in interviews, "She was smart, funny." In 2011, Bill opened his pet boutique, Rocky and Maggie's, named after their dogs, and it became a huge success with online sales and pop-up stores. Jen, who was born in Orlando, Florida, on March 12, 1974, had a similar background, having undergone over 30 surgeries as a child due to spondyloepisiotomy dysplasia. Despite the difficulties that came with fame, she never gave up and went on to attend Johns Hopkins for medical school, where she became a neonatologist. Their adoption journey touched many hearts, and she frequently said, "I want to help babies like I was helped." They traveled to China to adopt Will and then to India for Zoey. The show followed every step of the adoption process, from the difficult paperwork to the joyful homecomings, but after the show ended, real life took over, and things became more difficult without producers to guide the story. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, they were stranded in Florida, and Bill's business struggled due to supply chain issues. When Jen's job at the hospital became more demanding, they moved to Boston in 2022 so she could take a dream job at a hospital affiliated with Harvard. Bill claimed to support the move, but he told friends that he didn't want to leave Florida because Boston's too fast-paced, too cold. By 2023, the affair with Samantha had already begun. She was a divorced mother who worked for a pet marketing company, which was ironically related to Bill's line of work. They met at industry events and clicked immediately. When Jen discovered everything in late 2023, she confronted Bill one night in the kitchen while the children were sleeping upstairs. She asked him, "How could you do this to us?" Some of their texts that showed intense emotions were leaked, including one that read, "Can't wait to see you again." Another from Bill read, "You're my escape." That evening, Bill packed up his belongings and departed. The Boston house, a 6-bedroom colonial on Harborview Lane with ramps, lowered counters, and a gym. They paid $2.1 million for it. The value increased a little, but they had to sell quickly because of the divorce. The sale was emotional, according to realtor Lisa Thompson. They loved that house. It sold for only $1.1 million. Bill took his share of the money and purchased a smaller $800,000 condo in New York to be near Samantha. Now, back to the arrest. At around 8 p.m. on August 6th, while Bill was enjoying lobster rolls and cocktails, Mark, the fan who became hostile, came over and made offensive remarks, allegedly saying, "You're a disgrace to little people." Bill, drunk and irate, replied, "You don't know my life." Then there was the pushing and shoving, a glass breaking, and Mark needing stitches for his hand. According to police records, Bill's blood alcohol level was 0.09. 09, just over the legal limit. He was charged with a Class B misdemeanor, which carries a maximum sentence of 6 months in prison, though as this is his first offense, he will probably receive probation. Samantha is supporting him. "We all make mistakes," she wrote on her own Instagram. Though Jen is taking legal action, love wins out. The children are unaware of all the specifics, but Zoey allegedly questioned Jen, "Why is Dad in trouble?" She might ask for full custody if things get worse. She was devastated. According to Dr. Emily Hart, a psychologist who specializes in celebrity breakups, reality TV couples frequently break up after the camera stops. Without the spotlight, everything is more difficult. According to a former cast member of another TLC program, we witnessed This story reminds us that fame is short. As of August 9, 2025, Bill is out on bail and staying quiet in New York. Jen is back at work posting pictures of their children. Will is at soccer camp. Zoey is painting no word on alimony, but estimates suggest Bill pays $10,000 monthly. Will the little couple return? Unlikely, but Jin might get a solo show. Dr. Jin, Healing Hearts. Bill Heath, pitching a business reality series. Fragile. From courtroom dramas to $1.1 million house sales, Bill Klein's life is a cautionary tale. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Team Jen or forgive Bill? More updates. Following the disappearance of the show, Jen Arnold and Bill Klein's son will look so grown up in their new photo. Jen Arnold shares adorable pictures of kids Will and Zoey trick-or-treating in a Florida neighborhood. I'll explain everything. Flourishing on boats was a common past for Will Klein and his sister Zoey, as seen on TLC. Will Klein has recently discovered a new hobby, and Dr. Jen Arnold shares updates about her children Zoey and Will on social media after the little couple finished filming. Despite his adult size, the former TLC singer is returning to a hobby he had when he was still a little boy. Will he follow through on it this time? Though there are boats and beach activities there as well, the milder weather was initially thought to be something kids would hate. They adapted, and now they seem to be quite happy in their new home. Will plays lacrosse and has recently taken up another hobby. Reminiscing about the cool things that Will and Zoey were doing when the show was on TLC can bring back memories of all the cool things that they were doing. After visiting NASA with the young couple, Zoey immediately shared Will's. As seen on TLC approximately 4 years ago, viewers saw an episode in which they went sailing. Jen Arnold shared a particularly blurry photo to Instagram this week, which may have been taken while sailing on rough seas, but her comment expressing her pride in Klein 63 for returning to the sailboat gave TLC viewers a hint. Will Klein is currently 13 years old, and in case you were unaware, he seemed to have a dream of becoming an astronaut. They went swimming, to the museum, and to the aquarium, among other things. One of his followers said, "Good for Will." Will seemed like a courageous young man, but another follower said, "The truth is that he must be, as growing older presents more physical difficulties for children." Fans of the little couple still hold Jen Arnold's family in high regard, so they didn't waste any time leaving comments on the page. In fact, many would be overjoyed if TLC revived the show. There are many orthopedic and neurological issues associated with being a little person. Jen Arnold noted greater dangers in the early years and later in life. "I wish Will luck with his new sailing pastime and hope he can keep it up for a long time." Does Will's decision to learn to sail the ocean make him a courageous young man? Share your thoughts. Will's father, Zoey, recently made headlines for visiting a spine expert in New York due to an issue he's been dealing with. In the designated space, and be sure to return to TV shows Ace for any updates on TLC's The Little Couple. Proud Mom's latest post marked a significant milestone as Jen proudly announced that her 13-year-old son will score his first goal in a lacrosse game, and she couldn't help but beam with joy. The 49-year-old shared a touching photo of the adolescent in his outfit with a lacrosse ball in his hand, and Will's expression was one of extreme happiness. Joy.